Good evening. My name is Mary, and welcome to day number 23. And the title is Jacob's Wives. Then Jacob went onward in his long journey. He waded across the river Jordan in a shallow place, feeling the way with his staff. He climbed mountains and journeyed beside the great desert on the east. And at last he came to the city of Haran. Beside the city was the well where Abraham's servant had met Jacob's mother, Rebekah. There, after Jacob had waited for a time, he saw a young woman coming with her sheep to give them water. Jacob took off the flat stone that was over the mouth of the well and drew water and gave it to the sheep. And when he found that this young woman was his own cousin, Rachel, the daughter of Laban, he was so glad that he wept for joy. At that moment he began to love Rachel, and he longed to have her for his wife. Rachel's father, Laban, who was Jacob's uncle, welcomed Jacob and took him into his home. And Jacob asked Laban if he would give his daughter Rachel to him as his wife. And Jacob said, "If you will give me Rachel, I will work for you 7 years." Laban said, "It is better that you should have her than that a stranger should marry her." So Jacob lived 7 years in Laban's house, caring for his sheep and oxen and camels. And such was his love for Rachel that the 7 years seemed like a few days. At last the day came for the marriage, and they brought in the bride, who after the manner of that land was covered with a thick veil, so her face could not be seen, and she was married to Jacob. And when Jacob lifted up her veil, he found that he had not married Rachel, whom he loved, but her older sister, Leah, who was not beautiful and whom Jacob did not love at all. Jacob was very, very angry that he had been deceived, though that was just the way Jacob himself had deceived his father and cheated his brother Esau. But his uncle Laban said, "In our land, we never allow the younger daughter to be married before the older daughter. Keep Leah for your wife and work for me 7 years longer, and you shall have Rachel also." For in those times, as we have seen, men often had 2 wives, or even more than 2. No one thought it was wrong then to have more than 1 wife, although now it is considered very wicked. So Jacob stayed 7 years more, 14 years in all, before he received Rachel as his wife. While Jacob was living at Haran, 11 sons were born to him, but only one of these was the child of Rachel, whom Jacob loved. This son was Joseph. This son was Joseph, who was dearer to Jacob than any of his other children, partly because he was the youngest and also because he was the child of his beloved Rachel. And that was the word of the Lord. Now we come to the discussion questions. And the first one says, how much did Jacob love Rachel? Number 2, how did he show his love? Number 3, how did he feel when he saw he had been cheated? Number 4, why had Laban cheated him? Do you think he was right? Okay, so this is the end of our chapter number 23, or day number 23. I hope you will have fun discussing those questions, and we'll see you in another video and in another story. Take care. Have a good night. God bless you all. Bye-bye.